Hello, and thank you for joining me once again. This is a very short video about something which I experienced recently, and it's a problem I've noticed over the years, but I thought I'd cover it because it may save you some head scratching and some concerns. It relates to mag mounts. Now, I've got a motorhome. It's a van conversion, so there's lots of metalwork, and I published a video a couple of weeks ago now about mounting an antenna on the vehicle using a mag mount. Now, the mag mount I had was okay for the 20-meter band. It wouldn't be for anything lower, but I did show how you could actually increase the capacity of the mag mount by putting some braid onto the earth side of the mag mount, in other words where the thread section is on the mag mount, taking that braid straight down onto the roof of the van, taping it down so it's in direct contact with the paintwork, and that will increase the capacity of the mag mounts, and it worked quite well. Somebody suggested that on my vehicle I've got an awning, and the awning has got a bare metal alloy bar going the length of it. They said, why don't you take a braid connection from the earth side of the mag mount, in other words the threaded side of the socket, take that across onto the awning bar, which is bare metal. That sounds a sensible thing to do, doesn't it? You just take a bit of braid across and then you've increased your earth system. It's not quite as simple as that. Let me explain what happens. Now, if I explain what happened and why it happened, it may help you to solve similar problems that you might have. And I must say that if anything involves roof bars and mounting HF antennas, you can get problems. Anyway, let me show you what happened and why it happened. Now, here on the table I've tried to replicate what is happening on the van. I've got a mag mount here. Now, this is a very small mag mount. It's designed for VHF, UHF, but it will stand in for the larger mag mount that I'm using on the van. And on here, on the right hand side, we've got the awning roof bar, which goes the length of the van. Now, there's no way of knowing actually how well that is bonded to the metalwork of the van, but we have to accept what we see and then find out what happens when we try it. Now, here I've got a length of braid. I attach the braid to the outside threaded section of the mag mount. That's where the earth side of the aerial is, and that's where the earth side of the coax goes to, back to the transceiver. I'll take this braid across to the roof bar and I fasten that to the roof bar. Now, I did, as somebody suggested, put a large crop clip on there and made sure it was a good connection. So now we've got a nice earth strap going across from the mag mount to the awning roof bar. That is probably around about 25-30 centimetres, but it looks nice bit of braid, and that should handle the RF current very nicely. But, and it's a big but, the problem is that that length of braid there actually becomes part of the antenna system, because this mag mount is now appearing as above the true earth point, because it's got another earth return. Now, the chances are this earth return may be better, don't know, but it's certainly a different earth path, and therefore the earth point is no longer there, but it's there. So what we're doing is we've moved the antenna above the earth point, and the net result is, and this proved when I did some checks on this, the net result is that it actually lowers the resonant frequency of the antenna. If you put that strap on there, you actually see the antenna resonant at a lower frequency because it effectively increased its length. The feed point is no longer at earth, it is above earth. And what is more, if you grab this sheathing, this braid in here, you'll actually see the resonance change slightly again, which is proof of the fact that this is actually live. Now, we get this same problem if we put an antenna upstairs and we think we've got an earth back to ground because we put some sheathing outside and it goes back to ground. It may be a DC earth, but it's not an RF earth. That distance there represents a part of the frequency of the antenna, and the antenna is now actually seen itself above Earth. It does get rather complicated because it depends on how good that mag mount is, how much capacity there is, what the roof bar is doing, is it bonded to the metalwork, is it not, etc, etc. It becomes rather a complex situation. The point is that you suddenly find that your antenna has changed, and you may be really unlucky and find that you've actually got two resonant points. I've seen this with roof bars. You seem to have two resonant points, and the reason is one resonant point is determined because that mag mount is down to Earth, but there's also a return here which may be better, may not be better, but that return is at a lower frequency because you've got this extension of the braid in here. So that is why you can run into problems with roof bars and so forth, and awning bars, as I did. I found that it didn't actually help. It lowered the frequency slightly, and there was a bit of a strange trace on the VSWR curve. Taking it off, back to what we expected. So is there an answer? Well, if you want to increase the capacity of your mag mount, you've got really two choices. You make a very firm connection with this braid on the earth side of the mag mount, and you immediately tape that braid down firmly onto the roof of the vehicle. The problem is, to make it a firm connection, you need some really good tape, and when you pull the tape off, it tends to leave a residue of glue on the body of the car, so it's not the perfect answer. You can put two mag mounts together, and that probably is another alternative, but you need to make sure those mag mounts are very close together, so you make sure the distance between the two mag mounts is absolutely minimal, therefore the amount of braid that needs to go across is minimal. That's another way of doing it. And of course, if you're lucky enough to have a decent roof on the car that will take a three-legged mag mount, that's probably even better. But I hope this has shown you the potential problem you can get if you use roof bars or awning bars or whatever. So hopefully that will give you some insight into what can happen. And if you've been scratching your head because things weren't quite working out as you expected, the antenna didn't seem to be resonant where it should be, etc, etc, things were changing, things were unstable, well, this might show you why this is happening. There we are. So thanks for watching this video. Hope it's been helpful. Thank you for your support on this video channel. It's much appreciated. We've got some very good figures on this channel now, and rather than sort of concentrate on selling, I try to give you some hints and tips which I personally have come across during my history of a ham operator, and sort of pass those on to you, probably quite a few newcomers there. We do operate a very successful retail business based in Portsmouth. We've got a website, and we've got a retail counter down there. So whatever you're looking for, check our website, give us a phone call, and we'll be delighted to help you. Anyway, in the meantime, you enjoy your ham radio. See you in the next video. Bye.